This is a video for Year 11 students and new Year 12 IB students to set up their computer so that they can write some code using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, any code that we write for computers. This doesn't include our Python, that's a separate video, but this is just for our HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So the first thing that you need to do is go to Safari, open up Safari. When you're in Safari, you're going to do a search for a program called Brackets. Just type in Brackets in your Google search. You'll get this brackets.io is the website. You go there, you click download Brackets 1.1.4, whatever the latest version is. You click Brackets and you download Brackets and you install that program. Once that's installed, that'll be on your system like this. Little brackets, click here, and it should look something like that. So that's Brackets. That's the first thing you need to install. Second thing you need to install is a program called MAMP. So again, you go to Safari, you type in MAMP, hit enter. It says MAMP and MAMP Pro. You want to do the free download. You click the free download and you download and install MAMP. Now when that's on your machine, that'll look like this elephant just here. Click MAMP. It'll start like this. Now, it may ask you, do you want to run MAMP Pro? You've got to say no. You just want to start MAMP. And what we'll eventually do is start servers, and the Apache server and the MySQL server will start. So that's MAMP. That's the second one you want to download. Right, the next thing you want to download is called Firefox Development Edition. So Firefox Development Edition. Developer Edition. Click on Firefox Developer Edition and click and download that. Now we're going to be using this and we're going to link it into the other two programs. So this is the reason that we're using this. You can still use your own Safari or Chrome and whatever else you need, but this is the one we're going to use for when we're testing our websites, right? So you want to download Firefox Developers Edition, not just normal Firefox. You want the Developers Edition, right? So once you've downloaded that, it'll come up and it'll look like this on your desktop and it'll be there. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to go into our applications folder. So I'm going into my computer, I'm going into applications, and I'm going to go down to MAMP. That's the first one I want to go to is MAMP. I go to my htdocs folder, I hold down the control key, click on it, and I say make alias of my htdocs. I then grab that alias, drag it, and I put it on my desktop, and you will be using that all year. So that's going to stay on your desktop. I've put it in here as htdocs alias there. Now you're going to go to Brackets. When we go to Brackets, we open it up, and we say Brackets Preferences. And when you get the preferences, you need to type this line of code, right? This is really important that once you're in your Brackets JSON file, you need to put live dev.multibrowser close inverted commas equals true. So once you put that line of code in, that says that you don't have to use just Chrome as your default browser. You can use any different browser that you want. You need to write that in there. Once you've done that, you need to actually quit out of Brackets and you need to open it up again so that it's reinitialized with the multi-user section on. Then you need to go File, Open Folder. And when you do Open Folder, go to your desktop, go to htdocs and hit Open. And that then allows files that are going to be stored in your htdocs will be able to be opened in Brackets, and you'll be able to live preview them using this live preview here. Now we want to live preview them in Firefox, right? So you need to open up your Firefox Developers Edition and it'll come up asking you, do you want to set this as default edition? You need to say yes, you want this as default, right? So even if you go to preferences, there should be a preference here somewhere. Set Firefox as your default browser. You want to say yes. Now, you need it to be your default browser so that we can do the things that we're going to do. Okay, so we've got Firefox open. One of the things that you want to do in Firefox also is that you want to go to Tools, Web Developer, and you want to open Web Console, which will open up this section down the bottom here, which we're going to be using. You also want to go to Tools, Web Developer, and Scratchpad, which allows you to write some JavaScript in here, write 3 or 4, 10 lines, whatever it is of JavaScript, and you can run it directly in here. For example, alert. Let's put in here, hello, new students. Okay, so I've written an alert message in JavaScript just into the console there, and if I hit run, it'll run, and you can see the pop-up window came up, hello new students, and you can hit OK. Okay, so that's the way that we want to have it set up for these different applications. Now, let's say we're running a file out of brackets, HTML, right? So I'm going to go File, New. Okay, just a little trick with brackets is if you go File and we're creating a new file, it comes up untitled and it doesn't really know what type of file it is. So if you do a save as first, and then it'll know what type of file it is. So I'm going to call this index.html. I'm saving it into my htdocs folder, which is the link to MAMP that we made before, and a link to that folder. I've already got a file in there called index.html, which I did as a test. I'm going to save over the top of that. So if I do that first, and then I say I'm replacing in this situation. Now if I go to actually write a HTML page, it'll help me by auto doing the close of the brackets. So if I've started off typing out HTML here, it'll close it down below. So same thing as if I do body here, it'll close the body. There we go. And so I'm just going to do a simple, this is a test, this is a test, a simple website, hit Command S to save it, and then I can go on and do my live preview and hit live preview, and that'll jump to Firefox Developer Edition. And there it is, and it seems to have worked. And if I want to see the code, I can go Web Developer, show me the web console, and then I can see down here different things that are going to happen. I've got my statements in here. I've got everything I need. So that's how you set your machine up to start doing HTML, CSS, and PHP and JavaScript. Okay, just one little addition to the video is if we start up MAMP, so I've brought MAMP up here, and I hit start, you'll notice that these two buttons go here green. It'll be your Apache server and your MySQL server. It'll jump into Firefox Developers Edition because that's our default browser, and it'll bring up MAMP looking like this. Now, once we go into MAMP, we could use my website and look at which files we've saved in our htdocs. If I do that, it should jump straight to the index.html, which it did, if I go back here, or we go down to PHP MyAdmin, and in PHP MyAdmin we're going to be creating a SQL database, so we're using PHP to communicate with the SQL database via the web pages that we create, right? So through our HTML, PHP, using CSS and JavaScript, that'll be communicating with our SQL database through MAMP, which is a local host.